Welcome to the online public involvement meeting for Project Design ID 5939-0002 along Wisconsin Highway 80 in Iowa County. Who can I talk to about the project? This is a list of the people who are working on this project. Their contact information will be on the last slide of this presentation, which will include their emails and phone numbers, as well as the address of the Wisconsin Department of Transportation Southwest Region Office in Madison. Feel free to contact them with any comments, questions, or concerns regarding this project. The presentation will follow the outline shown here. First, we will be discussing the project limits. Second, the purpose and need of the project. Third, the proposed design improvements. Fourth, the activities that have been completed thus far. Fifth, the next activities in the schedule. And finally, ending with contact information. What are the project limits? The proposed project begins in the village of Highland, 150 feet southeast of the Wisconsin Highway 80 Kennedy Street intersection, and stretches north for 2 miles, shown in red, to a quarter-mile north of the Wisconsin Highway 80 County Highway I intersection. Why do we need this project? The primary purpose for the project is to repair the pavement deterioration along Highway 80. The roadway surface is aged and deteriorated with longitudinal, transverse, and alligator cracking. The photo on the left shows longitudinal cracking and potholes in the wheel path near Progressive Way. The photo on the right shows longitudinal cracking and rutting in the wheel paths of the travel lane. Treatment is needed to extend the service life of the pavement. Another reason for the project is the sidewalk curb ramps located in the village of Highland are not fully up to the Americans with Disabilities Act standards. The photo on the left is the curb ramp at Progressive Way intersection, and the photo on the right is of a curb ramp at the Merchant Street intersection. These photos show the lack of a level landing and acceptable grades for sidewalk curb ramps. The proposed project will address these deficiencies to the extent that is possible. What are the proposed improvements? The proposed project includes resurfacing Wisconsin 80, shown in red in the picture on the left. The resurfacing section of Wisconsin 80 includes removing 2.5 inches of the existing surface and paving back 3.5 inches of new asphaltic material. The picture on the top right is of a milling machine removing asphaltic pavement surface. A similar machine will be used for the proposed project on Wisconsin 80. The picture on the bottom right shows an asphalt paving crew placing new hot mix asphalt. A similar process will occur on Wisconsin 80 with the proposed project. The next collections of slides will explain each proposed improvement in more detail. Design overview. The typical sections for the project are broken into an urban typical section, shown on this slide, and a rural typical section, shown on the next slide. The urban typical section is for the portion of Wisconsin 80 located in the village of Highland, from Kennedy Street to Farmers Ridge Road. As previously mentioned, the pavement will be milled to a depth of 2.5 inches and paved back with a depth of 3.5 inches in the travel lane. The parking lanes will be paved with a thickness of 2.5 inches at the curb and gutter and 3.5 inches at the edge of the travel lane. This allows for a thicker pavement in the travel lanes. The thicker pavement structure will provide for a longer pavement life. The existing curb and gutter will remain in place. The rural section of Wisconsin 80 are located to the north of the village of Highland from Farmers Ridge Road to 0.27 miles north of the County Trunk Highway I intersection. In this section, the pavement will be milled to a depth of 2.5 inches and paved back with a depth of 3.5 inches. There will also be new shoulder aggregate placed on both shoulders of the highway. Next, I'll discuss the curb ramp improvements along the project. The locations of the curb ramps that are proposed to be improved to meet Americans with Disabilities Act standards are at the following intersections: Kennedy Street, Grand Street, Isabella Street, Main Street Diagonal Street, Merchant Street, Dodgeville Street, St. Anthony's, Upland Hills Mid-Block Crossing, and Progressive Way, Park Street. The curb ramp improvements will also consist of reconfiguring the intersection crosswalks at some of the locations. Small areas of real estate and/or temporary easements may be required to construct the proposed curb ramps. At the Kennedy Street intersection, a curb ramp will be added in the northeast corner. The red line shows the proposed crosswalk that will be added to this location. Additionally, the existing curb ramp in the northwest corner will be updated to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. Small areas of real estate and/or temporary easements may be required to construct the proposed curb ramps at this location. At the Grand Street intersection, the existing curb ramp will be removed and shifted to the west. This will allow for a new ramp to be constructed on the north side of the highway and avoid the driveway at this location. The new crosswalk is shown in red above. The proposed ramps will be constructed to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. Small areas of real estate and/or temporary easements may be required to construct the proposed curb ramps at this location. At the Isabel Street intersection, the existing curb ramps will be reconfigured to cross Wisconsin 80 and Isabel Street at right angles. The proposed crosswalks are shown in red above. The proposed ramps will be constructed to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. Small areas of real estate and/or temporary easements may be required to construct the proposed curb ramps at this location. At the Main Street, Diagonal Street intersection, the existing curb ramps may be reconfigured to improve the layout of the ramps. Existing utilities, structures, and storm sewer inlets will have to be avoided to allow for the upgrades. The proposed ramps will be constructed to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. Small areas of real estate and/or temporary easements may be required to construct the proposed curb ramps at this location. At the Merchant Street intersection, the proposed ramps will be constructed to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. Small areas of real estate and/or temporary easements may be required to construct the proposed curb ramps at this location. At the Dodgeville Street intersection, the existing curb ramps may be reconfigured to improve the layout of the ramps. If possible, curb ramps should cross roadways at 90-degree angles. These crosswalks are shown in red above. Existing utilities, structures, and storm sewer inlets will have to be avoided to allow for these upgrades. If the upgrades cannot be constructed, the existing crosswalk configuration will remain. In either scenario, the proposed ramps will be constructed to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. Small areas of real estate and/or temporary easements may be required to construct the proposed curb ramps at this location. At the St. Anthony's Upland Hills Mid-Block Crossing, the proposed ramps will be constructed to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. The proposed ramps will be in the same location as the existing ramps. The slopes of the ramps will be adjusted to meet ADA standards. Small areas of real estate and/or temporary easements may be required to construct the proposed ramps at this location. At the Progressive Way Park Street intersection, a new crosswalk shown in red above will be constructed. The ramp in the southeast corner of Progressive Way and the ramp in the northwest corner of Park Street will be reconstructed to cross Wisconsin 80. The ramp in the northwest corner of Park Street will also be configured to cross Park Street. The proposed ramps will be constructed to meet current Americans with Disabilities Act standards. Small areas of real estate and/or temporary easements may be required to construct the proposed curb ramps at this location. What will happen to Wisconsin 80 traffic during construction? The project is scheduled for construction during the 2026 season. Wisconsin Highway 80 will remain open to traffic during construction. The contractor will use flagging operations to move single-lane traffic around the work zone. Access to all businesses, residents, and properties will be maintained during construction. Short-term closures of parking lanes, sidewalks, and driveways could occur during the project. These closures will be coordinated by the contractor and by project staff to the affected property owners. During working hours, especially while the contractor is flagging traffic, there will be delays to the traveling public. Please allow yourself extra time or plan to use an alternate route while these operations are occurring. What activities have been completed thus far for the project? In early 2020, the project was initiated by the planning section in the Southwest Region office in Madison. Later in 2020, a design survey was completed by a consultant surveyor. The information that was collected will be used by project staff in the design of the project. Initial coordination letters were also sent out to project stakeholders as part of our environmental report process. In 2021, the preliminary design began on the roadway and curb ramps. Drafting of the environmental document for the project was begun. As part of the environmental document process, we are holding this public information meeting. The public plays a key role in this process. Your comments, questions, and concerns about this project are encouraged. What is next? As mentioned, the work on the environmental report has begun, and we anticipate the report to be completed by October of 2022. The preliminary design and design study report will be completed by August of 2023. The right-of-way plat is anticipated to be done by February of 2024, and real estate acquisition will start once the right-of-way plat is complete. The locations where right-of-way is needed to be purchased will be at the curb ramp locations, not the entire length of the project. WIS staff will work with property owners during the real estate acquisition process. The project plans and specifications should be finalized by August 2025, with construction beginning the next spring or summer in 2026. Who can I contact with comments, questions, or concerns about this project? If you have any comments, questions, or concerns about this project, please send us an email or give us a call. Individuals who are working on this project are listed above. Another way to contact project staff is by U.S. mail. Please send any letters to the Southwest Region Office at 2101 Wright Street, Madison, Wisconsin 53704. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation, and have a great day.